Welcome to the Deep Space Nine Chronicles. I'm Alexander Siddig. When you watch this next episode, you might think you're seeing double. Don't worry. It's because the crew is thrown into an alternate universe where they meet their strange alter egos. This also happens to be one of the most challenging productions ever shot on the Deep Space Nine series because the promenade and station sets had to be changed dramatically. Big spotlights and fences were included to create the look of a prison yard. Special smoke machines were brought in, steam blew up from the floor vents, the whole place looked like a futuristic Hades. But as you'll see, it all paid off to great effect in this episode, called Crossover.
Drama, passion, mystery, murder. All that and more can be found in this provocative episode from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles. In the story, Kira discovers that her lover could be responsible for the massacre of dozens of her fellow freedom fighters. And it features two familiar guest stars in the DS9 legacy. Philip Anglin, famous for his Broadway role in The Elephant Man.
Truth is not always easy to recognize.
And Camille Saviola as Kaiopaka, whom viewers may recognize from her many appearances in Woody Allen's films. The title of the episode, The Collaborator, can also be interpreted as the way many of the DS9 scripts are written. The story was dreamed up by Paramount promotion executive Gary Holland, who in turn worked with writer-producers Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolfe. Now that's what I call collaboration. I'm Avery Brooks. We hope you enjoy The Collaborator. Hello, I'm Avery Brooks. In this episode, Miles O'Brien's plans for a vacation getaway are spoiled when he's taken prisoner by the evil Cardassians. As a result, his brief escape through the wormhole becomes the vacation from hell.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Now, since the wormhole is one of the essential story ingredients in many of the episodes, you might be wondering from where the idea first came. Albert Einstein, to be exact. He coined the phrase to describe a theoretical offshoot of his theory of relativity. Dr. Stephen J. Hawking also speculated that wormholes and quantum fluctuations could link together multiple universes. Wormholes have been used before in Star Trek lore. One swallowed up a pair of Ferengi on The Next Generation.
Right where I expected it to be.
Now, from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles comes Tribunal, my television directorial debut.
I'm sure you've heard of the word insectomorphic, right? Well, in Star Trek terms, it means a spaceship designed with insect-like features. And in this episode from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles, you'll see what I mean.
They're not answering. Shields up, go to yellow alert.
New vessels were specially designed for a group of nasty aliens called the Jem'Hadar. Oh, and when you see these guys, you'll think they're rhinomorphic, because some people think they look like two-legged rhinos. This episode was the dramatic season finale from our second year, with the threat of a new alien power ready to wipe out the crew. And you'll see the crew hiking and camping in a breathtaking forest. Supposedly a new planet discovered on the other side of the wormhole. They actually trekked out the Descanso Gardens near Los Angeles, California. I'm Sirach Lofton. There's plenty of thrills coming your way in the Jem'Hadar.
Hi, I'm Terry Farrell, and you're about to see an episode from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles that took the series to a bold new level at the start of its third season. Audiences were introduced to a powerful warship called the Defiant. Benjamin Sisko uses the ship to defend the space station from an invasion by the dreaded Dominion.
Set course for the Corona system. Warp 7. Engage.
Adding a starship to the series created a lot of new storytelling possibilities. First, it meant the crew could have a different set of adventures off the station. It also made it easier to shoot scenes with more people inside a bigger vessel rather than in the cramped quarters of those little runabouts. And finally, it allowed Sisko to truly live up to those immortal words spoken by two other famous captains before him, to boldly go where no one has gone before. See for yourself in The Search, Part 1.
Odo is definitely one of the most unusual characters ever created in the Star Trek legacy. He can change into any shape he wants to, from a chair to a spinning top to an ugly rat. And in this episode from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles, he's about to discover his mysterious shape-shifting roots. But what you may not know is that creating these fluid movements takes the efforts of a very specialized effects team working with state-of-the-art equipment and the latest computer technology. And the whole process can change dramatically every time they do a different morphing effect. The actor must be shot against a blue screen, carefully performing the movements of the morphing effect. A visual effects company constructs a 3D image of the footage and composites the various elements. Then, well, believe me, it's a lot of work, so don't ever take those blobby images for granted. I'm Rene Aubergenois. I hope you enjoy part 2 of The Search.
Ready for a shotgun wedding? Hello, I'm Armin Shimmerman, and in this episode from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles, my character, Quark, is about to walk down the aisle with none other than a Klingon bride. How he gets there makes for a wonderfully told tale of comedy and heroism. In addition, this is another show that features the popular Ferengi rules of acquisition, which in Earth terms translates to something like how to succeed in business without really lying and cheating. For instance, rule number 1 states,
once you have their money, you never give it back.
As the series progressed, these rules became very popular with Star Trek fans. As proof, a best-selling Rules of Acquisition book can now be found throughout the country, featuring Quark and written by DS9's executive producer, Ira Stephen Bear. I guarantee you'll like the House of Quark. It's one of our finest.
This episode, called Civil Defense, features a great performance by a regular bad guy, Mark Alaimo, as Gul Dukat, who savors every moment of the crew's predicament. This bottle show, an episode that saves money by using existing sets and limited extras, also featured Kalamini, who at the time had been rumored by the fans to have left the show. Mark Alaimo now holds the honor of having played more characters on Star Trek than any other actor. For instance, he played the dog-faced creature on the Next Generation episode Lonely Among Us. He starred as one of the first Cardassians ever to be seen in the Star Trek legacy, and he also was the first Romulan to appear on the Next Generation, breaking a 20-year hiatus for that race of highbrowed aliens. I'm Sirach Lofton for the Deep Space Nine Chronicles.
Sometimes the things we imagine are more real than we think. When the writers on Star Trek Deep Space Nine decided to confront a political issue head-on, they sunk their teeth into a real-life controversy that was just beginning to heat up. This episode, Past Tense Part 1, throws my character of Dax, as well as Sisko and Bashir, into Earth's past. The not-so-distant future for you viewers.
There's a law against sleeping in the streets.
In this time period, the homeless situation is dealt with by confining those people in fenced-off sections of San Francisco, known as sanctuaries.
Do you think there's a way out of here?
If there is, we'll find it.
While the episode was being shot, an article appeared in the Los Angeles Times proposing that a large industrial area downtown be closed off and used for the same purpose. Real life can mirror fiction more than we like. I'm Terry Farrell for the Deep Space Nine Chronicles.
What if 2 characters from Deep Space Nine were on Earth at precisely the same time as Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock? Well, it happened. I'm Alexander Siddig for the Deep Space Nine Chronicles. In this episode, Past Tense Part 2, there's a scene where Kira and O'Brien beam down to Earth's past. They land in San Francisco in the 30s, and if you look closely, there's a poster on the wall for a boxing event. It's the same poster seen in the original series episode, The City on the Edge of Forever. While Kira and O'Brien search for their friends in San Francisco, Kirk and Spock attempted to repair the timeline a few thousand miles away in New York. There's another link to Star Trek's past in this episode. One of the crazy homeless men who insists he keeps seeing spacemen is played by Clint Howard, director Ron Howard's younger brother. Whoosh! We first saw Clint in the Corbomite maneuver, playing a childlike alien. Some more fascinating trivia from the Deep Space Nine Chronicles.
Be careful where you go. You never know when you might stumble into a mirror universe. An alternate reality where the people are the same, only different. Star Trek went there the first time back in the original series, in the episode Mirror Mirror. This episode, Through the Looking Glass, is the second time Deep Space Nine crossed over. Now Sisko must step into the shoes of his alter ego and lead the rebels to victory. You'll also see Voyager's Tim Russ making a guest appearance. Tim has the distinction of being the only actor who's appeared in all of the current Star Trek series, as well as the feature films. If you're wondering why, in this mirror universe, there is no sign of Odo or Quark, they were bumped off the last time Deep Space Nine ventured there. And someone's gonna get taken out this time, too. I'm Terry Farrell for the Deep Space Nine Chronicles.